Hey, friends and listeners. Welcome back to Truth, Lies, and Alibis, your true crime podcast that looks at things from the distinct perspective of two 911 dispatchers.
Episode 9. A communication issue. Today, I tell Jess about the weirdest love story, which included pizza, 5 murder attempts, teenage hitmen, and a movie deal. Hi, Jess. How's your week?
It's good. It was not as busy, so that was nice. Got a little bit of a reprieve.
Very snowy, though.
Less than it has been. Thank goodness.
Oh, yeah. This is a new week. I'm still stuck in last week.
Yeah. You ran away to California.
I was on my honeymoon enjoying the sun while you were here in the snow.
And then it all melted, almost. So
yeah,
that's been nice.
That was nice. I was kind of scared to come home to like a driveway full of snow, but it wasn't that bad.
The sun's been out, so it's been
good.
And we're supposed to reach the mid-50s this weekend. Ooh.
Wow, look at us go in March.
I know.
Well, are you ready to dive into today's episode? I'm really excited to share it with you. Can you tell? Okay. To start off the show, I wanted to ask you a question, which I think I already know the answer to, but I have to ask you anyway. Okay. Would you ever stay with someone who tried to kill you? I wish you could see her laughing.
You know what? Easy answer. No, I wouldn't.
Is that your final answer?
Hold on, let me think about it.
Do you need to phone a friend?
Did they try to kill me on purpose?
Yes. Not once, not twice, but 5 times.
Holy shit. That's gonna be a big O I'm getting the hell out of there scenario.
Jess is like, hard pass. Okay, so question. Would you leave before they tried to kill you the first time? Maybe the second time? Or...
Listen,
at least after the first time?
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
Fool me 5 times, I need some serious help.
Probably be dead. You know what? After the first time somebody intentionally tried to kill me, regardless of if they were a significant other or not, I think I will cut them out of my life.
I think that's probably like a very smart choice.
And you would think, hopefully, it would be the popular opinion.
Add that to our list of things that people need to take away from the podcast.
Our fourth pillar. We're just building pillars as we go along.
I hope this helps you in your day-to-day life, everybody. So today's story was sent to me by a fellow dispatcher. Shout out to Celeste. She also sent the story about the wife who had killed her husband and then wrote about how to get away with it. That's episode 14 in season 1, and it's how not to get away with murder. So she sent me a screenshot, and she said, have you heard of this story? And surprisingly, I was like, no, I've never heard of this story, which is weird because it happened in the 80s. And I haven't seen, maybe I just don't remember seeing it, but I haven't seen any of the typical true crime shows that I watch, like Dateline or 48 Hours on this, which is crazy because as you'll find out, it inspired a movie. Ooh. So you would think that there would be a couple episodes, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you, Celeste. You're really good at finding stories. Please keep sending them to us. Also, anyone else who listens, send it to us on Instagram or Facebook or text us, you know. The title of the article that she sent me was Couple Celebrates 57 Years Married Despite Multiple Murder Attempts. And you can find this on Arizona's Family. It's dated February 17th, 2023. So this year, Tony and Francis Toto have been married 57 years. Tony said in the interview, and this is a quote, "We have been blessed that we had together all these years. There was one time, though, when we had some rough times."
I would say.
The rough times Tony is referring to is the year of 1983. On January 25th of 1983 to be exact. At this time, Tony and Francis lived in Allentown, Pennsylvania and owned a pizza shop together, and they had 4 kids. Tony was 37 at the time and Francis was 38. Francis had discovered through many people that Tony had been cheating on her with multiple women. And instead of confronting him or leaving him, Francis made the decision that would ultimately inspire the Hollywood hit film I Love You to Death. Have you seen it?
No.
Okay. I watched it for this, but we can talk about it in a little bit. Francis then... Go ahead.
I make the assumption based off of what you've told me already that all 5 murder attempts happened within the same year?
Yes.
Oh my god.
It was from
okay.
1982 to 1983. So within that time span, there was 5 total murder attempts. And
Jeez.
I'm going to tell you all the stuff that I could find online and then some of the stuff that I pulled from the movie because it was in the 80s, there's not a lot to find, right? Like some of the articles are posted and some of them aren't. So anyway, Frances then attempted to murder her husband, like I said, 5 times with the help of teenage hitmen.
That was my band name in high school.
Are you serious?
No.
Oh, I was like, what?
Teenage hitmen. No, that's a joke.
I was like, you were in a band?
That's a joke I make often with my D&D group.
I think that's the greatest thing I've ever heard. So, the teenage hitman had failed multiple times to take care of Frances's problems.
Her husband? Her problems. Her husband.
Yes. The attempts included blowing up his car and attacking Tony with a baseball bat. Then one night, Frances crushed up some sleeping pills and put it in Tony's chicken noodle soup before having him shot by her teenage hitman, Anthony Bruno, who was 20 years old and the boyfriend of the couple's 17-year-old daughter, Elizabeth. When Anthony didn't die for 2 days, that's when 19-year-old Ronald Barlip and his 18-year-old cousin, Donald, came to the house and shot Tony again. He was shot in the head, didn't die.
I was going to ask if they were stormtroopers.
And they missed. Then they shot him in the stomach. The bullet was just inches away from his heart. This was after Frances paid them $500. So that's all she gave them was $500 to murder
in the
her
80s,
husband.
like, I don't know what it costs to hire a hitman at all, but I imagine in the 80s for a teenage hitman, $500 was a pretty good deal, I guess.
My guess is this is their first hit, so.
I think so.
They're like, we'll give you a discount. It's our first time. I just don't understand, like, why she was like, oh, like, I guess I kind of get why she'd be like, oh, he's cheating on me. I want to kill him. Not really, but I can kind of get people feeling that way, right? But when did she decide, you know what sounds like a good idea? I'm going to hire some teenagers to kill my husband. And I don't even know if she paid the Bruno guy. I think she just paid the Ronald and Donald people to finish him off. Tony said that he was shot, and this is a quote, twice, once in the back of the head, and then a bullet went right through the chest. He was so out of it because of the sleeping pills and obvious trauma of being shot, so he believed Frances when she told him that he was fine and he just had the flu and to go back to bed. So after he was shot in the head with a .22 caliber handgun, that's what they used, he woke up and she was like, oh, you're fine, honey. You just have the flu, as blood's like pouring out. I'm just kidding. So after he was shot the first time, Frances then force-fed Tony barbiturates to keep him semi-conscious.
How is this man? This man is a modern-day Rasputin. How is this man still alive?
Yeah. And one of the interviews that they do, because they went on to do multiple interviews, she was like, he just wouldn't die. And I was like, I'm sorry, what did you just say about your husband that stayed with you like an idiot? I'm sorry, Tony. But I feel like you made bad choices all around. You probably shouldn't have been cheating on your wife. And
yeah, first bad choice.
You probably shouldn't have stayed with her after she tried to kill you. I don't know. At least the second time I'd be like, okay, it's time to go. But he didn't know about. He knew someone had tried to attack him with a baseball bat. Obviously that wasn't successful. He scared them away. They ran away. So he didn't know why.
Obviously he's still alive.
Yes. So he didn't know why someone attacked him with a baseball bat. Then I guess they tried to blow up the car, but they didn't rig it right. So it didn't work. So he didn't know about that either.
It was the 80s. How do you fail in blowing up a car? Wasn't everything like mildly explosive back then anyway?
I don't know, Jess. I don't know how to blow up a car. I wouldn't have known in the 80s probably either. She's probably like, oh, let's try this. And it was something really stupid.
It's probably like, I saw this in a movie once.
Probably. This is what you do. You put this here, and then it'll blow up. And then he just drove away, and they're like, wait, why didn't that work? Or maybe it was the teenage hitmen who were like, oh, I think I know how to do it. And they knew nothing about cars.
Teenage hitman. Teenage hitmen.
Leave it to Jess. She'll have a whole song in like an hour. It'll be good. So, she force-fed him barbiturates, and doctors would later say that this may have actually saved his life because it lowered his metabolism and slowed down the bleeding process. For anyone who doesn't know, according to the National Institutes of Health, barbiturates are a group of sedative, hypnotic medications used for the treatment of seizure disorders, neonatal withdrawal, insomnia, preoperative anxiety, and the induction of coma for increased intracranial pressure. They are also useful for inducing anesthesia. Here's my question so far. What was her plan when she was like,
She didn't have one.
you have the flu. Go back to bed. She's like, if I just keep feeding him these pills, he'll die eventually, right?
And then what? Like you said, right? Like your plan. And then what? Call 911 after he's dead and be like, oh no, my husband's dead. The cops show up and's like, this man has been shot.
And she's like, what? Huh? I didn't notice that. I've been here this whole time.
Teenagers ran into my house. She was 100% good. Like, come on. She was gonna turn them in, I bet. Because they knew the family through the daughter.
Yep.
I bet you.
Why didn't she just make sure he was dead? Like, why would she just continually force feed him? Like, I'm not saying this is a good plan. Don't murder anybody, okay? That's my motto in life. Just don't commit murder. But don't just be like, oh, the one shot in the head didn't work, so I'm just gonna force feed you barbiturates. Like, I don't understand her thought process.
I don't.
I mean, she already shot him. Well, they already shot him once, so like, why not just be like, oh, just shoot him again? Instead of hiring 2 more people to bring into this whole scenario to shoot him again. It just doesn't make any sense. So when asked about this situation, asked about like the shooting and everything, she says in the interview, the one in his head is still there. I don't think I was thinking straight. It was like a love-hate kind of thing.
I don't think I was thinking straight when I hired teenagers to kill my husband.
See, that was my next question. What made you think you weren't thinking straight? The first 4 attempts or just this one? Like, when were you like, oh, maybe I wasn't really thinking right. Maybe these are all bad ideas. Also, I feel like if you're in a relationship with someone and you, quote, love, hate kind of thing, if there's more hate in that than love, just peace out.
If it's skewed in such a way that the scale tips towards murder,
maybe just walk away.
Maybe don't.
Okay. So Tony lay injured for a total of 5 days.
This man is immortal. She unfortunately married the wrong man to try and get away with killing your husband. Her husband was unkillable.
Yep. 5 days he laid in bed until police caught wind of the plot when an informant called to tell them, hey, this guy, he's
Did
just
they know
laying
who the
there.
Informant was?
They didn't say who it was. I think it was probably one of the teenage hitmen. They probably were like, my career as a hitman doesn't look promising since I tried to kill this person.
She's obviously not
multiple times. Yeah, my Yelp review went down.
Yeah, I figured out what it is. It's to the tune of Teenage Wasteland. Teenage shit, man.
So, they entered the house to find Tony asleep and breathing heavily, and they arrested Francis Toto. They also arrested Anthony Bruno, Ronald and Donald, and 2 of the Toto children, Elizabeth and Anthony, who were in on it.
So 2 of the kids were in on Mom's plan to kill Dad.
According to a couple of the articles I found, yes.
I don't like to make judgments here, but what a fucked up family.
Yeah, so can you just tell me your thoughts so far?
I'll tell you the thought that I keep coming back to, and it's not teenage hitmen, even though there's something there. I still can't believe that this man stayed with his wife.
I can't believe he survived the whole time.
I can't believe that. And then on top of that, to go through all that and survive and be like, oh, sweetie, you little minx.
It gets worse. Like, his thought process, you're just like, what is wrong with him?
It's okay. We'll let bygones be bygones. It's fine.
She only tried to kill me 5 times. If there was a 6th time, man, then I'd have to leave. But
that's where I draw the line. But, you know, she said it was a love-hate sort of thing, so she still loves me. Sure.
Tony spent 12 days in the hospital, and when he was discharged, his first stop was bailing his wife and almost murderer out of jail. I wish you guys could see Jess's face. She's rubbing her head. Like, She clearly is just stumped at what is going on here. As we've discussed before, I put this in quotes, love just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't. Safe to say this is probably a toxic relationship. Just
listen,
guessing.
We're no experts, but I think we can safely say that this was an unhealthy relationship.
I would say so. Yeah, that's my personal and professional opinion. He even took a loan out on the family business as well as the family home to pay the $50,000 bail.
What did in all of these interviews does he give a why?
Are you ready for this?
No, but go ahead.
This is a quote from Tony. He said, when he went to pick her up, we both cried and we said to each other, from now on, let's talk, let's communicate better. Something that we should have done before. So that's what was missing.
No, listen. This is not a communication issue. Arguments over dinner and going to bed angry are communication issues. Attempted murder times 5 is not a communication issue.
What was she supposed to communicate? Hey, honey, I found out you're cheating on me, so I'm kind of feeling like killing you.
Yeah, right. If she had just talked to me about it would have been fine.
Because it never would have happened, and we totally... Yes, you see why I had to do this story? I had to tell you the story because it's
issue.
Outrageous.
Please. Unbelievable. Delusional. In denial.
There's lots of words.
This man is unkillable. He could be a superhero. He could be flying around.
Delivering pizzas.
I was going to say stopping crime.
Well, he owns a pizza business. I'm just saying.
But he's unkillable, Brittany. He's an X-Men.
He is an X-Men. He should probably go see someone about that. Anyway, the Totos say that this was the moment their relationship changed for the better. Because what can bring two people together like attempted murder, right?
Sure.
They're like, this attempted murder made our relationship so much better. This is the kicker. The couple went to counseling and it changed their relationship. To which I say, what counselor approved of this relationship? What counselor was like, oh, you know what? So normally in counseling, right, they're like, oh, you just need to forgive and not talk about the past and just kind of move forward together. So she's like, you know what, Tony, you just need to forgive her and forget about the time she tried to kill you. And just pretend like you had the flu and it was just really bad. And you guys can definitely make it through this.
Listen, you made some wrongs too. It's all just an even playing field. Leave it behind you. Sure.
Counselors must have been real different back then. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
My other question. How did Tony sleep at night next to the woman who attempted to have him murdered 5 times?
That I thought of that too. How would you ever be able to put your back to her, right?
Or eat her food
and not be like, "Whoa, don't move so fast. Why are you moving so fast around me? Slow down."
He sleeps in a different bedroom with a bunch of bolt locks on his doors. Yeah. Side note, in the article posted on the Chicago Tribune, he said the first night she was home, he didn't sleep at all. He also said that when she cooks for him, he now waits till she eats first.
You should... Listen. Hey, y'all. Listen. That shouldn't have to be a standard in your relationship. Listen, we aren't in medieval times. You shouldn't have to have somebody test your food before you eat it, especially if it's your significant other.
Life is too stressful.
Oh my God, right?
Why are you adding more stress to your life that you don't need? This is my thought. They say this is like a love story.
No.
But
no.
He obviously didn't love her. If he was sticking it in other girls, if he was picking up other chicks and he was having sex with them, he obviously didn't love her the way that she wanted to be loved. We've talked about this before. If you are in a relationship where it's okay, and you guys both agree, cool. But if you're not...
If it's a consenting agreement. Yeah.
Yes. Then maybe don't do it. So why doesn't he just leave her and move on to someone else? What's keeping them together?
She cared so passionately that instead of letting him live with another woman so another woman could have him, damn it, if she couldn't have him, no one could.
I have something on that later.
Because that's not problematic.
It's terrifying. Although Tony said he forgave Frances and said, this is a quote, "Did I forgive her? Yes, nothing happened to me. It's okay." And Tony said, don't do it again. Take it easy.
That's definitively not true. Nothing happened to you, sir.
You
Sir?
have a bullet in your brain.
That's not true.
I don't, yeah. Like you said, I feel like he's in denial and this whole relationship is outrageous.
This is bananas.
He literally
Straight up
was
banana
like,
pants.
like, you would think it's not a real story, right? If you had seen the movie before you knew it was a real story, you would be like, that's real
like,
weird. Like, there's no way that would ever happen.
Right? This is so outlandish.
But it's a story that inspired the movie. Are you angry? I feel like you're angry.
I'm not angry at all. I think it's ridiculous. It's funny, which shouldn't be funny because it's a very dark situation, but it's funny as hell.
I mean, we cover a lot of stories that aren't that funny, so I felt like this was a good one to cover. So Frances had to serve time for her crimes, obviously, even though Tony said he didn't want to press charges and was not a willing participant in the trial. She pled guilty to criminal solicitation to commit murder and recklessly endangering another person. And she only spent 4 years in prison and says she talked to her husband, Tony, every single day.
I think that maybe these two Looney Tunes were made for each other. Maybe there's nobody else out there for them because they've both entered into this relationship that is truly bananas.
So what you're saying, what I'm hearing, Jess, is this is a love story.
No. No, it's not. I just can't get over his statement that nothing happened to me. That's the opposite of what happened. Many things happened to you. But you know what? Live your life, bud. You know,
as long as you're happy.
If it makes you happy, who am I to shit on it, I guess. Whatever.
Maybe he really enjoys living in fear every day of his life. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe he likes the adrenaline rush of is she gonna try and kill me today?
How many more murder attempts can I survive? Let's see. They're getting pretty old, so I don't think he could survive quite like he did last time. When asked about how he felt about the sentencing, Tony told the media that he felt responsible for the situation. According to the testimony given, Tony had threatened his wife and even beat her on multiple occasions. He also asked the judge to be more lenient with his wife and wanted her to be placed on probation so that the Toto family could be reunited.
I have stuff to say about this, but this other thought popped into my head. It's like 2 of your children also helped plot.
So why are you reuniting? Like, what sounds good about that?
This man sounds terrible, and his wife is also terrible.
So like you said, maybe they were meant for each other. In one of the articles I read, too, she said that she was also on drugs at the time, like she was doing meth. Yeah,
Lord.
So it just gets better.
Just pile it on, yeah.
Which she didn't disclose until, sentencing. She was like, she said, she wasn't thinking straight. I still don't think, I mean, I know there are lots of people who do meth. I know it makes you make horrible decisions, but not everybody on meth commits murder, okay? Just saying.
Or tries.
Yeah, or tries to and fails horribly. This is my thought. He's cheating on you. He's abusive towards you. He's threatening you. I can understand a little bit why you would want to murder him. If he's beating you, in the moment that he's beating you, maybe protecting yourself. What I cannot understand is staying with him and then trying to murder him 5 times. And then after you try to murder him because he's this horrible person to you, you still stay with him.
Maybe that was a conversation they had while she was in jail, was the fact that I'm a terrible person and you're a terrible person. Maybe we should just be terrible people together for the rest of our lives.
I love you so much, honey. I can't believe you almost killed me. It's the most romantic thing you've ever done.
Nobody's ever put that much effort towards me before. Oh, I love you.
Bruno received the maximum sentence for criminal attempt of murder, 6 to 12 years, and he said, this is a quote, "I'm sorry I got involved. I became emotionally involved with Frances. She is a fine woman, and I understand what she has gone through and is going through." But he added, "I don't feel I should be used as a scapegoat. It was my own stupidity. I knew I was doing wrong. I'm glad I was caught." And some of the articles I read, Bruno was described as being the daughter's friend, but then some of them said he was the boyfriend. And then in one of the articles, it said after he went to prison, the daughter sent him letters and pictures. So
there was at least some sort of emotional attachment.
Yes, but it also sounds like from this statement that maybe him and Frances were having some kind of emotional affair, because he says, "I became emotionally involved with Frances."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that could have been
just
a manipulation on her part.
It could have. because she sounds like a horrible person too. I couldn't find anything on the sentencing of the children, so I don't know if they were like arrested and then eventually just didn't have any charges brought against them or what happened. But Tony described briefly how Bruno fired around from it's either a 22 or a 25 caliber handgun, according to different sources, in the back of his head while he slept at the Toto home. He said that Bruno was a cold-blooded murderer, and these are quotes, "All I'm asking is justice, not revenge. This is all his fault. This was all his idea." And I'm like, this is my question. How was this his fault when your wife asked him to do it?
I'm going to withdraw my previous statement. So this man isn't a superhero. Him and his wife are a villain duo. This man is unkillable, and she's a master manipulator. Because she manipulated the teenage hitman, and she's manipulated her husband into believing that she's guiltless in this. And then it's the teenager who's the evil. Whoa.
What I wouldn't give to listen to those phone conversations.
Yes. Wow. Oh my God.
Yeah. Tony sold the family business and found a full-time job so he could be with the kids more after Frances was sentenced. After her release, the couple got a movie and a book deal. They then went to premieres and traveled all over to share their story on various TV programs and news stations, including Oprah Winfrey. The movie, as I stated earlier, was titled I Love You to Death and came out in 1990. So I watched the movie because I was like, oh my God, I have to see this. And so some of the actors in the movie included Kevin Kline, Tracy Ullman, Joanne Plowright, River Phoenix, William Hurt, and Keanu Reeves.
Let me actually pull it up. Maybe I saw it forever ago and I just don't remember. This doesn't look like it has anything to do with what you just told me about. This isn't a factual retelling. It's
based on the story, and Tony would say that it was 90% true, 90% accurate.
I'm sure. I haven't seen this movie, but sure. You also think your wife is innocent. I don't actually believe any opinion you have.
So I'm going to tell you, in the movie, they only have 2 kids, and they're young, and the 2 kids go off somewhere. Their aunt's house, I think. In the movie, the wife's name is Rosalie, and she doesn't know her husband is cheating, even though Devo, who is River Phoenix, a young employee at the pizza place who's in love with her, tries to tell her, until she sees her husband Joey at the library with one of his girlfriends. So he has multiple girlfriends in the beginning of the movie that you see him with, and he's just sleeping around. She sees him at the library with one of the girls. She then tells her mother about it, and the 2 plot together to kill Joey. The first attempt is when her mother hires a guy to beat him to death with a baseball bat, and he doesn't succeed, obviously. The second is when her mother attempts to blow up his car, doesn't succeed. The third is when they cook him in spaghetti, because he's Italian. They literally take 2 full bottles of sleeping pills and pour it into the spaghetti sauce, and then they feed him multiple bowls of it. And he doesn't die. It just makes him act like he's super drunk, and he's like, let's play Monopoly. And then he finally passes out, and that's when they call Devo to shoot Joey with a .22 caliber handgun. He shoots Joey in the head, but Joey's still alive. And then Devo then goes to a bar and hires 2 druggies to shoot him. They shoot him in the stomach, and then Joey wakes up, walks downstairs, and says, I heard a big bang, what's going on? And then the ending is especially a little crazy because, like Jess guessed already, it shows Joey, the husband, showing up to bail his wife, the hitman, and his mother-in-law all out of jail. Then he waits for Rosalie with flowers and chocolate and tells her he loves her basically because she wanted to kill him. He tells her how amazing it is that she didn't want him to be with another woman so much that she tried to have him killed.
Straight up bananas.
He's like, you love me like a man now, Rosalie, and not like your husband. And she smacks him. She goes, but you are my husband, you idiot. Basically you're a dumbass. And then they just kiss and the movie ends.
You love me like a man?
Yeah, it was very weird.
What does that mean? That, that's the intensity of which men love? Yikes.
Yeah, that says a lot. Scary. Anyway, so Bruno and the families of the Barlips have complained about the negative way in which Bruno and the Barlips are portrayed in the movie.
I would like to know what 10% of this movie Tony thinks is infactual.
Just the names.
Just the names and the fact that it was spaghetti and not chicken.
Oh, and there was 2 kids instead of 4. And one of the teenage hitmen actually looked like he was in his 40s, but it's okay.
But that's one of the things, right, is that this movie blatantly portrays that his wife was a guilty participant and that it's not all this poor stupid teenager's fault.
Yep.
Yeah, man, you're dumb.
In an interview after her release, Tony said, wait, Jess, you might want to write this down. You might want to put this somewhere, okay?
Save it for later. Turn to it in my times of need.
When you're thinking about poisoning someone's spaghetti, think of this. Killing someone is not the answer. That's the mistake Fran made. You should do anything but kill him. That's wrong. Because not only do you ruin yourself, you also ruin your family.
I mean, hey, listen, that is one of our pillars. Divorce, not murder.
I'm going to give you a couple more quotes from Tony because they're just so good. You have to think about that, especially if you have children like we did. In my case, I was a very stubborn person. I did not want to listen to her. I took everything for granted. My wife, my marriage, my family. We both did wrong. My problem was I went out with a lot of women. Of course it's wrong, cheating on your spouse. I hope the people who see this movie will learn something from us, that cheating does not pay, and what Francis did does not pay. The moral of all of this, are you ready? All of this. This is what Tony says.
I can't wait to learn what the moral is of this story.
To be faithful. Be faithful, Jess. Don't cheat on your spouse and try to communicate better. Be honest with one another. That's my message. Regardless if you are rich or poor, you can get help. Even if you have to look in the yellow pages, you can find help.
I'm truly speechless.
It's like you're taking it all in. It's just so wise, these quotes, that you just like have nothing to say. I get it. You're blown away by how smart Tony is.
That's it.
Side note, Ronald Barlip was released from prison and then arrested the same day for a drug charge. He was charged with public drunkenness, possession of cocaine, and possession of drug paraphernalia. And he was the shooter in the second shooting of Tony Toto. And in 1992, Tony was arrested for punching his girlfriend. So, from all their talk show appearances, news articles, movies, and books, it seems like he didn't take his own advice and continued to have affairs after the murder attempts.
Oh my god. I can't even.
He didn't even listen to the moral of his own story, dude. He literally tells...
How long after?
It's in 1992, so...
10-ish years?
Yeah, 10-ish years. So she was already out. And Francis wouldn't comment on it. And it was only one news article that I could find. I couldn't find if he spent time in jail. I couldn't find any of that. All I could find was that he was arrested. It's very weird because in a lot of the articles I read and stuff, they say the reason they want to share their story is to teach spouses to communicate. And I'm like, you communicated so well that you decided to continually have affairs after she almost killed you. And here's my thought.
You know what? Maybe that was an agreement.
Maybe after that, yeah.
I doubt it because she seemed very upset about it the first time.
This is true. And I mean, from the quote that we just read from Tony himself saying to be faithful, I think you're probably right in saying that she probably didn't agree to this. But maybe after she got out of prison, she's like, well, I can't shoot him again because I definitely won't get away with it this time because they won't suspect anybody else since I attempted the first 5 times. Like, I can't blame it on Teenage Hitmen this time, you know, the band I hired. So, like, also, she's like, I really don't have a future anymore. I probably can't get a job. So I think I'll just stick with this guy and he'll just pay for me. And
nobody else is going to understand
what we went through as a couple.
The intensity of which I love.
There's so much passion in this relationship that I just had to kill him.
And the thing is this only came to light because he was arrested for an altercation. Like, I'm guessing he didn't change his ways and he had many other side chicks again.
I would say that guess is probably accurate. I'm going to send you this 5-minute clip. We will post this online. Side note, I wasn't allowed to post last week because I dropped my phone in tide pools. I'm working on fixing that, okay? Sorry, everybody. We will post this video, though, on our Facebook, and we'll post a link on Instagram if we can. I'm going to send you this video. It's 4 minutes, Jess, of this couple, okay?
Hey, just a quick interruption. If you want to watch the news video that Brittany mentioned with us, stay all the way to the end. We've left in our reactions while we were watching it in time, so you can watch it with us and have your reactions with ours. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
That shrine that he had.
It's creepy. He's getting too much out of this. Like, it's weird.
Yeah, so, because when you commit a crime, you can't make money off of that crime. But since Tony's the victim of the crime, he can make the money. So maybe she's like, well, shit,
so that's why she's
I can't
so
make
miserable about
money,
it all.
so I'm just going to stick with this loser so I can get all the money.
It's a very odd dynamic. After I encourage everybody to watch the clip, you kind of get a better feel for their relationship dynamic and being able to see it.
Yeah.
As opposed to like hearing the story and hearing that like you definitely can get a sense that he was not a great partner.
Yes.
Again, not justifying Francis's actions. Again, divorce, not murder. But it definitely being able to see them does give that dynamic a little bit more life.
Yeah.
And I thoroughly believe that she was probably miserable and that was the final straw. And she really messed that up.
Maybe it was the meth.
Or hiring teenage hitmen to the tune of Teenage Wasteland.
Or you could be like, I'm just a teenage hitman, baby.
It is every time my brain thinks of the words teenage hitman, I hear it to the tune of Teenage Wasteland.
I'm just saying, there's something there, Jess. There's something there. We should probably, what's it called?
Copyright it.
Yes.
I'm fairly certain Teenage Wasteland is already copyrighted, so...
No, Teenage Hitman, the band name. So we can make money off of it. Do you know that podcast that I always talk about, True Crime Obsessed, with Patrick and Jillian? Shout out to them. Throughout their episodes, they come up with, like, gay bar names. We should do that, Jess, with our bands from now on. Oh my God. We should try and come up with band names.
I'm all in it. We do need to keep track of band names going forward.
Any final thoughts on this beautiful, unique love story?
Unique and story, I agree with. Beautiful and love, not so much. I think this is truly bananas. It's truly banana pants. What can I say? I literally
You're like, I don't know what to say because this shouldn't even be a real thing.
It shouldn't be real. They both, I guess, are made for each other because they're really bad at relationships.
Sounds like they're really bad at a lot of things, but...
Well, I feel bad for both of them, but I also don't because they made poor choices, like divorce, not murder. But, if people divorced and didn't murder, we'd have less to talk about.
Yeah, we wouldn't have a podcast. Communication is key, Jess.
Yeah, this was at the bottom of it all. This was just a communication issue.
Yep.
That's not true.
Be faithful to your wife, especially after she tries to murder you.
There's a time limit, though. You don't have to do that for forever.
Oh, okay. So it's like 10 years.
10 years, and then you can go back to doing whatever you want.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Hey y'all, this next part is just us watching that video like mentioned previously, so if you want to watch it with us, keep listening. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Okay, real quick, commentary.
I'm pausing.
I beg to differ that they do not know a thing about love and that they actually have that incredibly jacked up definition of love.
I would agree.
Anyway, carrying on. I made it a whole 18 seconds into the video. Okay. No, it's not. We had a rough time. This guy is swarmy.
Yeah. Did you see? Well, yeah.
Yes, that part, yeah. So you decided you were gonna kill your husband. Oh, yeah. Okay, go ahead. Oh my God, are they referencing a porn video now? Teenage hitmen.
I wish you guys could see Jessica's face.
Not in fact thinking straight. I don't think I was thinking straight.
It's like this little old lady.
She got crazy eyeballs.
Please put this at the end. We can just put like a disclaimer. This is us watching the video. Okay. Please.
Okay. I'm going back to it. Okay. Teenage. That's not true. Oh my god, these people are insane.
I'm sorry. I can't read. Okay. Whew. What part are you on now? What second?
Oh, 241.
Okay, good, me too.
Oh, play. Okay. Can I real quick make a note?
Yes.
Oh god, I stopped it on the article of the newspaper picture of her pointing a gun. Can I just make a note through all of this, all of the pictures they show, why are you so restless? Do you need down? There's a chair right here for you. What is happening? Are you lost? He was like, I have to get down, and then forgot how. All of these articles and like the pictures and the newspapers and stuff that they're showing and the clips, she does not look happy.
No, she doesn't.
He is soaking it up.
Yep.
This is a swarmy.
Well, probably because she's like,
he doesn't look very like
trustworthy.
I wouldn't feel comfortable in a room with him.
Yes.
But, like, he is soaking it up that, like, he was like, yeah, all this attention. Yeah, my woman loves me. Look how much my woman loves me. She try to kill me. But she's, like, looks uncomfortable and miserable and all of these things. And
like, the last picture that shows where she looks happy is, like, their wedding day.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Now I'm at 252 now where there's a picture of her pointing a gun at him. Okay, I'm hitting play again. Oh, he's not happy about that. I made sure it was empty. It's a weird shrine for this crime. She looks miserable.
She does.
It's not a communication issue.
She's all an extreme example of communication.
Bravo for putting the DV hotline up there. That's nice. That's actually incredibly
the
smart.
best part of the whole thing.
Yeah. That they're like, these people are crazy.
She goes,
it's not a communication issue.
With a huge smile on her face, she's like, as she said, the Totos are, what did she say? Like, a unique
extreme
situation. And I'm like, no, they're crazy. They're not unique. They're freaking nuts.
Thank you for listening. Additional information for each case can be found on our website, truthliesandalibis.buzzsprout.com. New episodes will be uploaded every Monday. Find us on Facebook and Instagram at Truth Lies and Alibis.